Hey there, welcome back. This is Tradina Rayner. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, developmental psychologist, and body positive life coach. I had someone ask me, are smoothies truly healthy? And so the short answer is it depends, right? Nothing straightforward, right? And so I just wanted to start by showing you that the sugar and the fiber content of some of the most common fruits that people use in smoothies. This software that I'm using is called MyFitnessPal. It's been around for a while. I'm not really necessarily advertising them. I have no connection to them or anything like that. But anyway, I used MyFitnessPal to compare. Let me move my big head out of the way. Basically, I use MyFitnessPal to compare the different types of fruits, and so you can see here, so second to the last column is fiber, last column is sugar, right? And so let's start with grapes. So grapes, delicious, right? People can just eat a whole like bag of grapes in one sitting at one time. I know I used to do that. So you can see that 1 cup of grapes has about 23 grams of sugar and but very little fiber. So grapes are, you want to limit your grape intake, but a lot of people don't use grapes in smoothies anyway. But this is just kind of like good to know information. Now look at the blackberries and raspberries. So they have less sugar than they do fiber. So there's more fiber per serving than sugar. And so that's the type of those. These are the type of fruits that you want. The berries. Strawberry is not as high in fiber as blackberries and raspberries are, but they still have a good amount of fiber and pretty low in sugar. If you look at banana is a very common ingredient in smoothies. And so, what I would recommend if you're going to have banana because of the sugar content, try not to have the whole thing. What I like to do is I like to either use a smaller banana, you know how they sell the small bananas, use that, or use a regular size banana and just use half of that. Um, I also will get like a whole batch of bananas and you let them ripen up, and then I'll slice them and freeze them and peel them, slice them, and freeze them. Nowadays, Walmart and some other companies will sell their own brand of pre-sliced frozen bananas, so you can use that as well. That will allow you to only use a little bit of banana and not have the rest of it go bad. Let's see what else. Some other common smoothie ingredients. Some people will put pineapple in there. I just saw pineapple. Where the heck did it go? Pineapple. Guys, I'm missing it. I just literally, oh, there it is. So there it is. Pineapple, kind of the nutrition in it kind of reminds me of the banana a little bit. So another thing that you may not want to have an entire like cup, maybe like a quarter a cup or even a little less than that of banana. Excuse me, of pineapple. Let's see, blueberries. Blueberries have a good amount of fiber, but they're a little higher in sugar. So maybe like a quarter cup or less than that. Um, Let me see. What else do people like? Oh, people really like to put papaya and mangoes in there, but look at this. Look at how much sugar is in there. Almost 30 grams. Now, most people should only have about 50 grams of sugar per day. Now, that's me being generous because actually, some sources from the American Diabetes Association or the American Heart Association recommend to only have like 25 grams of sugar. So imagine that if you have one mango fruit or one papaya, you're going to have about your entire day's worth of sugar right there in and of itself. It does have a good amount of fiber, but you want to be mindful of the sugar content. All right, let me see. Anything else down here that people would use? Apples. People don't typically put them in smoothies, but they're pretty common, quick to grab, easy to eat, and they have a good amount of fiber, but they also are pretty high in sugar. Now, I'm just going to say straight out the bat, I don't want you to be like all obsessed about the sugar contents of fruit too much, because it's better for you to have an apple than some apple candy, for example, because the apple has fiber in there and it has some other nutrients, some other vitamins and minerals in there that's healthy for you. If you're going to go for the higher sugar fruit, I would recommend trying to limit your sugar intake with your other foods throughout the day, especially if you're going to have like maybe you have like a couple of pieces of fruit a day, but you know, your meals and everything else is pretty low in sugar, and you're drinking sugar-free beverages, so, or calorie-free beverages. So that will work out okay. Now, getting back to the topic at hand about the smoothies, so I do want to go in a little bit more in depth with that, and let me see if I can. So it also kind of depends on like what you're using the smoothie for. So like if you're using the smoothie for um let's say you just had weight loss surgery, or you're on one of the GLP-1 medications, or maybe another weight loss medication like phentermine, Ribelsis, Contrave, whatever it is, and your appetite is really low. So you have to eat things or drink things that are going to pack a nutrition punch, right? Have a lot of protein and fiber and other things that you need. And so then you may want to have like a ready-made protein shake, which may be like a lot of people go for these Premier protein shakes, right? Premier Protein. Let's see. Once again, I'm not affiliated with any of these brands. I'm just here spreading knowledge and, you know, trying to help you make more well-informed nutrition decisions. Okay. Let me just pick one. Usually the Premier Proteins come in this type of carton here. Let me choose chocolate. I like the chocolate one and the vanilla one. What size is that? Is the chocolate one? The bottle I think is 11.5 and the carton I think is 11 ounces. So we'll just go with that, okay? So you can see that this Premier Protein, in the past, I don't believe Premier Protein had any fiber. I've been taking them off and on, drinking them off and on for a while now, but now they have added some fiber in here. And so there's 2 grams of fiber, 30 grams of protein. It's a reasonable amount of sodium, but so that's okay. So I consider this overall to be balanced. I would just say you have to be careful if you're already on like a calcium supplement. You have to be careful with this because this is pretty high in calcium, and this can trigger some constipation. So if you already have an issue with constipation because of the medications or because of surgery, this may not be the best source of protein for you. You want to find another type of protein item that has a protein shake that doesn't have that amount of calcium in there. Let's see. So this is dairy-based protein shake. This Premier Protein one has milk protein concentrate. The whey protein shakes also have, they're also dairy-based. So let's look for a plant-based one. Only what you need, OWYN, right? That's a very popular one. I don't know. They do have the little carton ones too. Here, let's pick that one. They're all plant based, only what you need. So let's pick the vanilla one here. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Well, look at this. Because it's plant based, it has significantly more fiber. Look at that. 5 grams of fiber per 11.15 ounces. Let's just say 11 ounces. 5 grams of fiber, significantly more fiber than the other one. It is a little less in protein per serving, but hey, I mean, we'll take the more fiber. Let's see what the calcium looks like. This is significantly more calcium. So this may be more beneficial for someone who has constipation, you know, one for the fiber and two because there's less calcium, or someone who just had bariatric surgery, or maybe you're a year post bariatric surgery and you're still taking calcium supplements like you're supposed to. Then you don't need additional calcium in your food really because you're getting it from your supplements. And so something like this may be more appropriate. Now, getting back to so this is like, these are like the pre-made things, right? But there's also powders and stuff like that. So let's go to like some other like store-bought smoothies. Like, what is that? I think there's Boathouse smoothies. Boathouse Farms, right? So they have some people will buy these ones, like, let me see if I can see a food label on here. Strawberry banana smoothie, right? Okay, so this is 15 ounces, and right out the back, I love that it has 5 grams of fiber. There's no protein, but look at all these carbs. But that's not the main point. The point is, look at all this sugar. Oh my goodness, 48 grams of sugar. Oh my gosh. And I already said that you should only have like 50 grams of total sugars a day, and that's being generous. So this is it. If you have this is it. You can't have any other sugar for the rest of the day. This is it, people. And so this is an example of something that I wouldn't recommend. And you definitely don't want to have a high amount of sugar if you are at not at one time, if you have had the bariatric procedure post surgery and you're still like kind of in a recovery phase, because this can trigger that dumping syndrome or some type of osmotic diarrhea for some people. And so yeah, this is an example of one that I wouldn't recommend because the sugar content is too high. So what if you just absolutely love this brand and you just like, oh, I gotta have it? Then maybe you can have half of it, but not the whole thing in one day. Maybe half of it. Um, so that's an idea, but there's no protein, so I don't really consider this balanced. It doesn't pack a punch. Let's look at another type of boat house smoothie. Um, oh, I know this is tiny. It'll get big in a moment. Don't worry. All right. So now this is the Bolt House Protein Plus. Okay, we like that it has 30 grams of protein, but the fiber went down. And oh my goodness, the sugar is even worse. This is a no-no, people. No, no. Because a good bit of its calories is coming from sugars. This is not going to help you nutritionally. Maybe for the protein, but not so much for anything else. There's very little fiber. There's too much sugar. It's going to send your blood sugars up the roof, through the roof, and can cause some diarrhea in some of you post-surgery individuals. And look at the calcium. That's a lot of calcium, which is good for, that's fine for people who, you know, are not on calcium supplements. But if you are already on calcium supplements, this is not a good idea. It's only going to make any constipation symptoms that you have worse, significantly worse. So let's see. Okay, so these are like ready-made smoothies or protein drinks. Another one that okay, so let's say you go to like, what is it, Smoothie King or Jamba Juice or something like that. Um, oh, they have food now. I didn't know. Oh, look at there. They're promoting GLP-1 support. Zero added sugar. Okay. All right, Smoothie King. I see you. I see you. Look at the fiber and the protein in some of these things. Okay. Once again, I am not like marketing these people. I haven't even tried these smoothies. I don't know. But let's say you're not, let's say they didn't have this GLP-1 support menu and you just got something from their regular menu, right? Menu overview. Okay. Trying to see. I wonder if they have the nutrition information on the bottom. I should have just pulled this up before I did this video, to be honest with you. Okay, let me go to Jamba Juice. Let's do Jamba Juice. Here we go. Usually restaurants and stuff have nutrition information on the bottom, but maybe this one doesn't. So let's go to the menu. Let's say, okay, let's choose this smoothie. Caribbean Passion. Okay, that sounds delicious, right? What I like about this website, and this is something that may be a good idea for you too, is you can play around with the ingredients and the sizes. We'll just stick with the medium for now. And they have where you can add different sources of protein supplements and stuff like that. So let me see. View nutritional information. If we take it as is, oh my gosh, 71 grams of protein. Please tell me my eyes deceive me. That is so, I mean, not protein, sugar. Sorry, 71 grams of sugar. That is too much sugar. 84 grams of carbs. That's too much. That's too much. You should probably, if you're going to have a smoothie, I wouldn't recommend more than 30 grams of total carbohydrates. No more than 30 grams. This is too much, way too much. Versus maybe something like this. Yeah, even if you made this small and you added protein and some other stuff, this just is too much. And it's probably a lot of like real fruits in there. They put real fruits in there, but it's too much of the wrong type of things. Remember that balance that I was telling you about. You should, majority of your smoothie, if you're going to make like a fresh fruit smoothie or a frozen fruit smoothie, majority of it should consist of the berries because they're high in fiber and lower in sugar. Maybe a little bit of the higher sugar stuff if you want some, sweetness or creaminess. You can also consider adding in avocados. Frozen avocados also will give your smoothie that creaminess without adding too much extra sugar in there. Um, Let me see, and it'll also give you some omegas too if you add an avocado in there as well. And they do sell avocados frozen, chopped up and frozen now, so you don't have to worry about waiting until it's ripe and peeling and all that good stuff. So another one, Fairlife. This is one of my faves. I like the Core Power ones, but they do have the ones that aren't Core Power. They go all the way up to 42 grams of protein. So I will say the higher the protein, the more the calcium seems to be in these things. So something else for you to keep in mind, people who are on calcium supplements. And so let's just click into this right here. So this is the 42-gram of Fairlife Elite Core Power Protein Shake. And you can see here, so this is a dairy-based protein drink. So if you're lactose intolerant, this probably isn't a good idea. I will also say that this product has carrageenan in it. Some people, this can trigger digestive issues for some people if they're very sensitive to things that can cause them digestive issues. So just keep it in mind. But for the general public, it's typically okay. Oh, I lied. It has lactase enzyme in here, so it's lactose free. Lactase breaks down the sugar lactose in dairy, so therefore it should be lactose friendly, lactose intolerance friendly. Excuse me, misspoke. So anyway, look, 900 milligrams of calcium, and that's, like I said, that's fine. But if you're on a calcium supplement, bad idea. You don't want to take this one. But it has 42 grams of protein, 2 grams of fiber. So you may be thinking, what if you like a protein drink that has a good amount of fiber in it already, or doesn't, that has a good amount of protein, but it doesn't have a good amount of fiber? What can you do? Well, you can do something like you can add some, maybe some like odorless, tasteless fiber powder to it, like benefiber or something like that. So, like this right here, like a benefiber powder. Okay, here's a label. So maybe like, so if you added 2 teaspoons, now this stuff like mixes really well. I've tried it in cereal, soups, everything. Water, you won't taste it, smell it, anything. And so if you do 2 teaspoons, that gives you 3 grams of fiber. So let's say you took that and you added this to this, the 2 teaspoons, then that's going to give you a total of 5 grams of fiber. So that's something that you can do to boost the fiber content in this type of ready-made drink or any other, or even when you're making from scratch. You can also add chia seeds to your smoothies, so, or flax seeds. That'll give us some fiber. I'm just going to pick one. I'm not promoting any particular brand. I'm just picking one just for the nutrition information. And okay, so for 3 tablespoons, there's 11 grams of fiber. Here's the thing about chia seeds and flax seeds and even psyllium husk, which is another good source of fiber. You have to be careful with those. You have to make sure you're well hydrated, and you don't want to have too much of it at once because it can actually cause an obstruction, a bowel obstruction, or a blockage. Or it can even get stuck. There's been cases where I've seen patients in the hospital where the chia seeds got stuck in their throat and it had to be surgically removed because what happens when the moisture hits these chia seeds, it swells up and turns into this big goopy viscous mass, jelly mask, and it gets stuck there. And so you don't want to do too much at once. And you also want to make sure that when you add the chia seeds to, if it's added to yogurt or protein drink, whatever you're going to add it to, or making chia water, give it time to go ahead and swell up in your item. Let it sit there for a while, let it swell up so that it has time to expand before you consume it. That way you don't consume it, too quickly or whatever, and then it starts swelling up on you all of a sudden. You don't want that to happen. So you want it to already be expanded if possible a little bit before you consume it. So anyway, so 3 tablespoons has 11 grams of fiber. So maybe you add 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon, so it's 11 divided by 3, right? 11 divided by 3. So that'll give you 11 divided by 3. That'll give you like 3.5 grams of fiber. That's still a good amount of fiber for a smoothie, just to add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. I wouldn't add more than that, to be honest with you, because then you can have that issue, like I said, and it can cause an obstruction, or you can even cause constipation when you have too much fiber at once. Can you have, let's say you had this twice a day, like a smoothie twice a day or a protein twice a day, where you added 1 tablespoon of chia seeds each time you had that item, that protein drink or that smoothie. That's fine, as long as it's like spread out throughout the day and you drunk a lot of water throughout the day and had other things. That's fine, but you don't want to do all 11 grams at once. Not a good idea. So, especially another thing, like when you take these weight loss medications, especially the GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, Zepbound, they slow your digestion down. And so this stuff is going to be swimming around in your system a lot longer, and that can cause more issues, more risk of like a bowel obstruction or some type of complication or constipation. So that's another reason why you don't, compared to the general public, you shouldn't have all 3 tablespoons. If you aren't on any of these medications, you may be able to get away with all 3 tablespoons, but I still recommend kind of like, trying it out at first, maybe do 1 tablespoon. And then, like, say the next day you make this, you add chia seeds again, you can try 2 tablespoons. See how you tolerate that. The next day, 3 tablespoons. Just work your way up and see how your body responds to each level of how much chia seeds you put in the item. All right, so I feel like I've gone all the way around the world and back with these smoothies and stuff like that. If you have, here's another benefit of chia seeds. Look at this protein, isn't that great? So it's going to add a little more protein to some things as well. And so, hopefully that answered your question, Miss Mamie Trimble. Really, I thank you and I appreciate you for asking that. And if you have any more questions or need any more clarifications, I'm here. Please do like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.